All right, we're gonna call this a part 2 video. A few days ago, I finished up changing the oil. I replaced the cam cover gaskets. I installed a AudiOilLeak.com 8 sleeves that stopped the oil leaking into the spark plug holes, which I thought was the main cause of my misfire. And I had a P0024, which has come back after driving it a couple days. It's not misfiring as bad, but it is still misfiring. I replaced the gaskets on all of the VVT solenoids. There's 4 of them on this engine. There's an exhaust and an intake on each one. I've already pulled these, and I want to show you something I've found. I'm not sure if it's my culprit yet, but in my video you'll notice that I did pull the exhaust out of this side, and there was a little chunk of metal in there, and I pulled the metal out and put all new seals back on and put everything back together. And I kind of thought I would have put the exhaust solenoid back in a different hole, and apparently I must have put it back in the exact same hole, because I'm having the problem again. And what I did here was pull that exhaust out, and if you look right, I can't zoom in there, there's it's like a piece of tin stuck in the valve. And I'm going to show you something real quick here. Let me put this on a tripod. All right, so I've got some actual jumpers here with the correct terminals on the end. Hard to see, but anyway, don't ever try to do wiring work. It's not as bad on these male terminals as it is on the female. If you don't have the right thing, you can really mess up a terminal. But I don't know if you can see this on the video, but I've just got a 9-volt battery, and it's hard to see, but solenoid is going up and down. It's making a nice solid clicking noise. All right, so I've got my terminal on the one with the metal stuck in there, and let's see if I can turn this. You can see, probably won't be able to see it, but see it's sparking, no clicking noise, and no solenoid actuation. And this thing, compared to this side, this thing's almost so hot you can't touch it. And this side is, I mean, it's warm from the engine, but it's nowhere near as hot as this thing. So I'm thinking this thing's been trying to command open, and due to that, it's not allowing it. So I'm gonna grab a pair of snap-on needle nose, because they're way better than anything else out there. You can sometimes the snap-on needler will pick up a penny with these things, but as you can see, it's like a piece of, I don't want to pull too hard and break it. So I'm going to try to wedge this open and see if I can't get that thing out of there. All right, so what I did was I stuck this punch in the end here, and you can see I can pull that out of there, and I ended up pulling a very small piece. I don't even know if I can find it now. But anyway, I'll show you here now, after with that piece out of there, getting a nice solid click. And this thing barely moves. It moves like maybe a 1/16 of an inch, but it's moving now. Oh, here it is. So I'll put this on a, there's what I pulled out of there. So I'm going to put this all back together and go drive it and see what happens. All right, so I did verify these things have the same part number on them. I started thinking, second guessing myself there, and thought maybe there was an exhaust and an intake, but there's not. They're both, looks like 06E109257J. Same part number on both. So this top one, I'm not 100%, but I would assume this is the intake, since it's on the intake cam side. So it just kind of slips in there. Make sure you have some oil on that O-ring, make sure the keeper's lined up, and then you kind of have to hit them down. Make sure you put this on the metal part, not on the plastic. And just kind of give it a tap there. And then there's a T20, it's a T25, I believe. And I just put these in, put that on the end of my magnet tool, because you will drop this into the motor if you don't put it in there correctly. And I already got it crooked, but just kind of feed it down into the hole there. And then use your finger to kind of hold it down, or a screwdriver. All right, I just did what I said not to. It got sideways and fell down under the intake, and I was able to fish it out with my magnet tool, but those do not need to be tightened down. I just kind of nudge it with my impact set on one there, and then I'm going to do the same. This side's a little harder just because you got to feed it down, but I'll get that off camera. All right, I got that in, so just make sure you get the connector lined up correctly and don't force them on there. Be very careful of this thing. This thing is super brittle. And plug what I believe is the exhaust cam one back in. All right, I'm going to clear the code and go drive it. All right, it's been 5 or 6 days, put a couple 100 miles on the car. The check engine light hasn't come back on. The timing chain actually seems a lot quieter. I don't know if it was maybe hanging partially open on one side, but anyway, it's running really good, no misfiring, and I think pulling that screen out of there helped our problem here. So yeah, hope that helps somebody in the future with that P0024 code, and I'm sure there's a similar code for the other side. I'll try to look that up and put that in the description as far as the will be the passenger side bank exhaust cam. And yeah, thanks for watching, and follow me for more Audi repair videos. Thanks.